Amandla. Amandla. Viva EFF, viva. Viva EFF, viva. Down with Ramaphosa, down. Down with the ANC, down. Down with the IFP, down. Thank you very much, President of the Student Command, the Chairperson of the Province, members of the Central Command team, and the leadership of the SRC, of MUT, and all fighters. We take this opportunity to thank you for being in the forefront, fighting the battles of the children of the working class. Because without you, many of these people will not have access to education. So you are doing a noble job. You are doing a God's job. You are doing Steve Biko's job when you look after black Africans who are likely to be marginalized, and they will become nothing in future without your intervention. So when you put a smile on an African child, you must be very proud. That is an award that you must achieve in life, because African people are hated everywhere. And when they find someone who cares, it makes them appreciate, because they know the first answer to their request is no, irrespective of them qualifying or not. So you are there to help them to achieve these things. We want you to lead the struggle to have proper residences. Why? There is no residence of students at Wits University, at TUT, at UCT, that doesn't have water, that doesn't have hot water, because they are white children who are found in those former white universities. That's why there will be water and hot water, and there won't be cockroaches. It will be a good resident, conducive for human beings, because white people are there. So if Wits University can have proper residences, it means proper residences are possible, because they are done somewhere. They can be done here, because we want all former black universities to be proper universities where even the rich want their children to go to, because the environment is conducive. It's you, the EFF, who must champion that struggle. The struggle for Wi-Fi, especially at university, at tertiary level, at school, is not a struggle for luxury. Always, as a young intelligentsia, you must always be advanced and equipped with information. So you must have access to information at any time, not during classes, not when you are at the student center. At every place of your convenience, you must have access to Wi-Fi, because information is power. The libraries of our universities must be equipped with the latest equipment and latest books. Not this thing of calling something a computer lab without a single laptop or a computer, but they call it a computer lab, because they don't care about our people. They just name a building and they think automatically that will be a computer lab. Let there be equipment and latest equipment in Mangosuthu, because that's where our people are found. And that's what the EFF must lead from the front. Don't make an apology. We met the director, who is responsible, amongst other things, to make sure that you are registered. Their plan is proper. They are working together with our SRC. But we don't want the SRC that loves management more than the students, that is sleeps with management more than the students. We don't want SRC that drinks tea when it goes to meetings, including a meeting of council, because tea is very dangerous. That's why when you arrive at someone's house and you are very angry, but can we give you tea? If you say yes, after drinking that tea, anger is gone. You can't drink tea and still be angry. You must fight before you drink tea, because tea is the beginning of selling out. You must tell them we are not here for tea. We are here for the registration of students. Once they've agreed that now we will take 3,000 students, you can drink tea. You don't drink tea before. You can't fight with people who give you tea. You can't fight with people who are feeding you. You find a president of the SRC given money by the VC. The president of the SRC, Secretary General, taking money from the security company. Tomorrow, when the security is raping students, the SRC is unable to talk because they are in the pockets of people who are doing business with the university. We want a militant and a radical organization of the students that represent the students at all times, not when they are on public platforms only. Even in private, they must speak for you without you hearing that they are speaking for you. Fighters who are in the SRC, you must lead by example. You must pass. You can't be a permanent resident of MUT. A leader must lead by example. You must not occupy that position forever because you are failing. It must be a criteria, President of the Student Command, that for you to lead the EFF SRC, you must produce your academic records. Because now in the EFF mother body, we are electing people who are going to parliament. This weekend, after the rally, there will be a list of people who are going, list conference to elect people who are going to parliament. No one will get a space in that list if he doesn't have matric. Because what reason do you have now for not having matric? You can't say you were in exile. You can't say I was underground. You can't say I was in prison. You were loitering around, doing nothing when we made a call for all to go to school. So no one will represent the EFF in parliament without matric unless it's Mam Kaula. Do you see, those ones are exceptional cases. Mara, these ones here on top of the stage, they will never see parliament as long as they don't have matric. And as the EFF grows and EFF Student Command opening space for people to go to school and acquire tertiary qualification, it will increase. It will no longer be matric. It will be post-matric qualification, because education must be fashionable. We must make education fashionable. Make it free, make it fashionable. Let the youth compete according to their qualifications. They must not compete about how many jeans of Levi do you have. Hey, I'm using iPhone, you are using Samsung. That is a useless debate. The debate should be, how many diploma do you have? Oh, I've got degree. No, I'm completing my master's. Can we imagine a society in that kind of conversation? That is the type of society we want to build as the EFF. That's why we are saying people must go to school, and education must not be made a commodity. You can't buy education as if you are buying bread. There must be a difference between buying bread and getting education. No money must be paid for your constitutional right. Education is your constitutional right. So, President, when we leave here, all those students who are qualified must get their seat in the university, whether they are owing or they are not owing. That is none of our business. Even the historical debt, we want it cancelled so that you can get your certificate and go and work. You know, fighters, we propose something and a lot of people are laughing because they think it's not practical. People who are unemployed, all of them who are unemployed and have got no source of income, government gives them 350. And as the EFF, we are not opposed to 350. But we have a problem with a matricless person getting 350 and a person with matric getting 350 and a person with degree getting 350. We must be given that money according to our qualifications. Because we are not the same. We cannot have the so-called unemployed graduate. That should be an insult to our society. You, when you live here, you must go and work. You must go open your businesses. You must go and play active role in the economy and the social political life of this country. But if you live here and government doesn't give you those jobs, it's failing not only you, it's failing the incoming generation who are looking up to you, who will refuse to go to school. And when we insist that they go to school, but I must go to school to do what? Because this one has been to school. He's earning 350 with his degree. This one hasn't been to school, is earning 350. They are all the same. Why must I go to school? Not giving you jobs and not giving you money for going to school destroys the future generation. We must pay you according to what you have studied. Why? Education must pay. It must not pay in theory. It must pay in monetary terms. We must be able to count rents and cents that are produced by the education you have. It's a debate we are going to pursue. It's a debate we will not leave because we don't believe there is a society that must pride itself with unemployed graduates. That should be an insult. So fighters, on Saturday, we want all of you at Moses Mabhida. That's where we'll be outlining the manifesto of the EFF. That's where a lot of things will be said. But we thought because we are around and registration is going on, we must come and give you a special invitation, but also to speak to management on registration. So a lot of policy will be outlined in detail on Saturday. You must make sure as fighters to mobilize all the students to come to Moses Mabhida, because that is an historic event. That's where we are going to cement the presence of the EFF in KZN and in all corners of South Africa. We said we don't want buses from outside KZN. We only want the people of KZN, so that we can scientifically prove to everyone that the EFF exists in every corner of South Africa. Therefore, you have a duty. You have a duty to make sure that stadium is full. Because if you fail, you'll make fools to laugh at us, to destroy this organization using Moses Mabhida. Moses Mabhida cannot be a burial site of the EFF. Moses Mabhida must be the revival of the EFF through your mobilization of the masses to fill up Moses Mabhida. Everything else will be there. All kinds of entertainment, political message, t-shirts, whatever you are looking for is going to be there. I said to DUT yesterday, and I must say it here, the SRC must make sure that all females receive free sanitary pads, because we are led by fools who give people condoms Whereas a matter of condom is a matter of choice. Since you made the choice, you must take care of the cost of your choice. But when you sanitary pads are not as a result of a choice, whether you are poor or rich, nature will always take its own course. And therefore, we must be able to look after those who can look after themselves without making them to be ashamed. So we need to resolve that struggle. From the SRC budget, take money and buy sanitary pads. From the SRC budget, take money and give at least a free meal to the children of the poor who cannot afford, who must not be thinking and struggling with where will my next meal come from. The SRC must look after that. We can't have 90% of the SRC budget spent on entertainment, on festivals, on alcohol, on travels and hotels. We want you to spend that money on the poor of the poorest. We do the same ourselves as the EFF. No female will enter that stadium and not get free sanitary pads. In all EFF events, we make sure we contribute whatever little to make sure that we restore the dignity of our people. That's why our struggle number one is the land, because land is the restoration of dignity of African people. You give Africans land, you know you resolved their dignity. When you don't have land, you have no dignity. That's why our mothers and fathers were called garden boys and kitchen girls. Girls and boys are not supposed to have property. That's why when you don't have property, you are a boy, you are a girl. That thing, kitchen girl, garden boy, was to tell you you don't have property. Therefore, you have no opinion. As long as we have not given you land, when you leave this school, with all the qualifications you have, if you don't have land, you are a nobody. During apartheid, white people once proposed that you want black people to vote. We said yes, but yes, we'll allow them, but only those who have property. Land is property. Property is not these big houses, double stories, and once you have land, even how you walk changes. You must go here in Umlazi, in the informal settlement, and look at a man who owns a shack without windows. When he comes back from a wedding drunk, he enters that yard of his and he stands in the middle of the yard drunk. This is my place. He remembers in his drunken state, or I am a person. You can undermine me and look at me and think I'm a drunkard. At least I've got where I stay. That's what land does. That's what land does. And when you fight for land, you must know you are fighting to restore the dignity of black people. You want to see that black people are apologetic about their existence. Just go and look at a black person, how that person walks. They either walk with their shoulders down and their hands at the back. That's a sign of a weakness. You walk like that because you know I've got nothing. So you are apologetic for being you. And look at how a white man walks. Shoulders up and straight. And he walks like he's a soldier. If you're on the other side of the road, you'll even feel like you can hear the footsteps. There's nothing, if you go to that man, he may not even have matric. But the confidence level of a matricless white person, it will irritate you. Because as you go further in the discussion, you realize that this one is using his skin, he can't think. But what gives him this confidence is the ownership of the land. They hate the EFF for demanding the land, because they know that once you give Africans the land, they are equal with us on the same table. They say the EFF is dangerous, the EFF is disruptive, all of that. Nah. They are fighting the EFF because EFF is fighting for equality. And they don't want equality. They can't sit with monkeys on the table. That's why they hate the EFF. So when you fight fighters, you must know that these things that we are doing is by the way. The real fight is the land. When we are in parliament, we are fighting for the land. That's why today we are prevented to come to the state of the nation, because they know we'll go there and fight for our land. We fought with Zuma. Zuma has never banned us from going to parliament. Today, a man that they said is the most democratic man, a transparent man, a man who's not corrupt, has banned the EFF from participating in the State of the Nation address because he is scared of the EFF. But he will never suppress the voice of the voiceless, because whether Malema is in parliament or not, members of the EFF are there in parliament, and the EFF presence will be felt in parliament. So when you fight, don't hesitate. And when you fight for a cause, you must feel it inside your stomach. If you don't feel it inside your stomach, in your belly, you must know you are pretentious. When you say, I love the students, I'm fighting for the students, but it doesn't reflect that in your belly, you must know you are opportunistic and using students' affairs to want to gain power. You are not real. But in the EFF, you are driven by black love, African love, and you can't pretend to represent Africans. Let's go out there, make sure we get as many people as possible to come to Moses Mabhida. That's where we are launching our campaign from Moses Mabhida. It's a one-way march, non-stop, to the Union Building. There is some ugly thing with a big nose in the Union Building that must be removed. And we're going to start that journey of removing Ramaphosa. We're starting it at Moses Mabhida. Be part of the historical march to the Union Building, where we are going to install the red flag on top of the Union Building that signifies that our people have emerged victorious. Amanda! Viva EFF, viva! Tata EFF, Tata! Thank you very much.